Bioneers. It's my people. This is where I feel it's the birthplace. It really is a joining of the midwives, the ideas, the ingenuity, the creativity, the sparks of inspiration. Bioneers brings all of these visions and all of this action together.
There's nothing that's off the table here. It's all possible, and it's all connected, and it's so liberating.
Welcome to Free Speech TV. I'm Carl Nagin, Special Correspondent for Free Speech TV's coverage of the 2019 Bioneers Conference. My guest tonight is Isha Clarke. Isha is a 16-year-old teenager, social activist, environmental activist, who gained national attention when she requested Senator Dianne Feinstein to approve the new Green Deal. And of course, Senator Feinstein didn't see it as appropriate for her to endorse that wonderful piece of legislation that was put forward by Alexandria Cortez and Senator Markham, was it? From Massachusetts?
Ed Markey.
Ed
Yeah.
Markey from Massachusetts, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But did offer you an internship. We'll get to that. So Isha Clarke, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Her work in Oakland earned her a Brower Youth Award, and we're really happy to have you with us here.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Yeah, terrific. So I want to start by asking you a little bit about what your experience growing up in Oakland and being a high school student there. How did that get you to a place where you became concerned about the impact of environmental pollution on communities of color, low-income communities? What specific experiences brought you to this, become an activist?
Yeah. So for a while, I felt very disconnected from environmental justice, climate justice. It was something I never really thought about. I didn't feel connected to it. I thought it was kind of like hippie and like very white. And so I didn't feel connected to that. But when I was a freshman in high school, I was invited to this action that was targeting Phil Tagami, who is a very prominent developer in Oakland and was and is still suing the city of Oakland to try to build a coal terminal through West Oakland. And that coal terminal is 2.5 miles away from my house. And so, you know, West Oakland is a predominantly Black and brown, low-income community that already suffers from health issues like asthma that would be exacerbated by the coal terminal. And so in that action, I realized the importance of environmental racism and really just what environmental racism was, and recognized that historically, environmental justice movements didn't reflect frontline communities. They didn't look like people like me who live super close to planned coal terminals, or who have had pipelines built through their water sources, or have refineries down the street from their house. And so I wanted to be a part of changing that, because I recognize that we can't actually face this crisis and reverse it if we don't have a movement that reflects the people, or that is led by the people who experience those impacts every day.
Fence line communities, frontline communities, this is a grassroots movement that you're a part of. And you were one of the founding members of something called Youth versus Apocalypse. Tell me about that group and how it's developed and what your role with it has been.
So I didn't found Youth vs. Apocalypse, but I was one of the original members. And the other original members were also, many of them were present at that first action that I was a part of, targeting Phil Tagami. And so Youth vs. Apocalypse started as a super small group of Bay Area young people who wanted to take on climate change. And we started very local. We started fighting the coal terminal. And it started as this like fellowship where we each had individual projects, and we came on a Zoom call once a month to, or every week, to check in about our projects, and we would meet up once a month. And it very quickly sprouted into this nationally, globally recognized climate justice organization who is leading super big climate strikes and talking to people all over the place.
How large is the organization now?
It's hard to say. We have, I think we have a central organizing group of about 10 to 15 young people, but we have people that we organize with all over the Bay Area that are involved in school programs or after school programs or, just various connections. But I would say Youth vs. Apocalypse is very much a movement, but we do have this kind of central group.
And you communicate mostly through the internet, through Facebook?
Yeah. We communicate a lot through Zoom, which is like a video call, like video conferencing call thing. But we also try to meet up in person as much as we can. It's kind of hard though, because people are all over the Bay Area.
Right. So what are some of the campaigns that you've been involved with through this group?
Yeah. Well, the first campaign was the No Coal, No Clean campaign. And then it became Youth versus Coal. It had a bunch of different names. And then another thing that I worked a lot on was the climate strikes. And, now I haven't worked on them specifically, but Youth vs. Apocalypse just updated our website to include a bunch of different local campaigns like the No Dredging in the Bay campaign, Last Chance Alliance, which is targeting Governor Newsom. There's a campaign targeting BlackRock. The list continues. And we really wanted to add that to our website to provide a space for people who ask the question, how can I get involved? Go to our website and click on those campaigns and we'll connect you with someone and you can put your energy towards a movement that's already kind of in motion.
The focus on Governor Newsom, can you detail that a little bit? What is it that you're demanding?
Yeah, various things. So we want to go directly to corporations like Chevron, but really the change is going to come from our politicians. And so because Newsom is the governor of California, we're targeting him to try to get him to pass some more bold climate action, to try to start passing things that align with the Green New Deal, and to really just be more bold. We haven't been seeing enough bold action from our politicians.
Describe how you came to confront Senator Feinstein about the Green New Deal. How did that develop? What's that story?
On February 22nd, I believe it was, I was invited to a Sunrise Movement rally. I was invited to speak. So I came to San Francisco. It was outside of her office. And I gave this speech and everyone was super pumped up. And I met these incredible young people who were like 10 and 12 years old. And they wrote this letter that they wanted to present to Feinstein, asking her to vote yes on the resolution for the Green New Deal. And they invited all the young people that were there to go up with them to deliver this letter. And so after a little bit of pushback, we got up to the office and there we were, and now the interaction is viral. Yeah.
But she offered you an internship. Did you accept it?
She did. I did not. I didn't follow up about it because I wanted to stay grassroots and stay in the fight on the ground.
No greenwashing here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how other youth can become involved with Youth versus Apocalypse. I'm assuming that's an umbrella organization for all these other campaigns. Is that correct or no?
No.
Or
It's kind of complicated. So Youth versus Apocalypse is our own group, our own organization, but we collaborate a lot with many different organizations, many different campaigns. And so all of the campaigns that are on our websites are campaigns that are either supported by YVA or we have like friends that organize those campaigns, or we're collaborating with them somehow.
Some future actions that you envision and campaigns that you are interested in developing.
Yeah, I really am starting to get pumped about a lot of the divestment campaigns. The UCs just divested about, I think it's more than $80 billion from fossil fuels, which is a huge deal. And so we're also trying to target companies like BlackRock, who have a lot of money in the fossil fuel industry and are advising people to put their money in the fossil fuel industry. That's one thing. I think also continuing to grow the climate strikes, and really developing ways to target politicians and try to get them to pass more bold climate policy, just taking more action around climate change. Or those are just a couple things. Yeah.
Do you envision that having stronger youth leadership in these issues can have a huge impact?
Definitely.
And how?
Well, I think that, adults have seen, they've been disappointed over and over and over again, but young people, yeah, you said it, not me.
I'm not.
But I think, right. I think, and I mean, I think that's a point. And young people have this fresh perspective and this drive to save the only future that we have. And really, we were born into this unique period of time. We could have been born into any time, but we're here now in this inflection point. And so we have to do something about it. And so I think the drive of young people, the passion, the need for this for some action to happen is really unique and is needed. And I think that young people are on the front lines because we're the ones whose futures are at stake. And so we should be part of the demographic that is the loudest and the most in the mix, if you will.
Has your work in this area, how has it impacted the school and your community, your immediate family and all that? What's that been like for you?
It's been really empowering seeing how people close to me are reacting to my work. And, I was just talking to someone else about this, that at the last climate strike on September 20th, there was about 30,000 people there. And I kept running into people that I knew from various areas of my life. I saw someone that I used to dance with, and someone that I used to go to preschool with, and someone that I sat in class with the other day, and people from various areas that aren't directly connected to my social justice or my organizing. And just seeing that means that everyone is really getting involved in this. It's not just people who are passionate about social justice, it's everyone. And so I think that's been really powerful to know that everyday people are passionate about this, and everyday young people are wanting to get involved.
Isha Clarke, thank you so much for being with us,
Thank
telling
you.
your story. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.